Good morning, guys. I hope we're all sparkly. Some people on testosterone replacement therapy are obsessed with numbers. My free testosterone must be between 0.5 and 0.85. Well, yeah, you do need to know what your quantitative numbers are, because how else are you going to gauge effectiveness and compare it to other biological markers when we understand the need for balance and this need for homeostasis? I do try and encourage my patients not to look at their numbers before they speak to me. I want to know how they feel, and then I want to see if the numbers match up. I also want to make sure that the numbers are not too high, not too low to cause physiological insult. It's all about you know what. Some people are simply obsessed with how they feel. Just keep upping the dose, irrespective of the effect it has on blood pressure, hematocrit, etc., etc. That is obviously ludicrous, because it's all about what? Yes, it's all about balance. If you have optimal numbers and you don't feel good, something else is going wrong. Now, it could be an issue with your TRT protocol. If you're not microdosing testosterone, cypionate, and HCG, the most effective way of achieving stable male androgen levels, then it's likely your injection frequency or the ester that you're using. Now, it's not to say you can't get dialed in with other esters and other injection frequencies, but it's all about mimicking physiology. The premise behind TRT, testosterone replacement therapy, mimic physiology for long-term physical and psychological well-being. But it's not as simple as just dialing in your testosterone. So when you measure natural levels, you measure them in a peak in the morning, in a fasted state. Why is that? It's to see how effective the SHBG axis is in producing testosterone when anabolic processes predominate, which is at the night time. When you're measuring levels on TRT, you're measuring in a trough. So it's apples and oranges, really. So what happens? The testosterone goes to the liver, the ester gets cleaved, and the testosterone is free to circulate around the body. Well, yes and no. It also gets attached to SHBG, sex hormone binding globulin, a buffer, my favorite glycoprotein. It's actually incredibly important. Again, lots of people want to lower SHBG. I don't want to lower SHBG unless you've got pathologically high SHBG, because SHBG is a buffer. It helps maintain the healthy ratio of estrogen to testosterone to DHT to feel good, and to help facilitate the function of each individual hormone on its specific target organ. The guys that struggle on TRT tend to be the guys with low SHBG, because that ratio of testosterone to estrogen to DHT is dysregulated. And what's it all about? Yes, balance. So I'm actually always super enthused to see a rise in SHBG, because not only does it mean you feel good, SHBG is a positive health marker. Improve your metabolic health through, guess what? Yeah, he's going to say it. Lifestyle, diet, exercise, rinse and repeat. And you will hopefully see an increase in your SHBG. So what could be wrong with your injection frequency? Well, as we've just said, the aim of TRT is to mimic natural physiology, and there's a diurnal release of testosterone because, yes, the anabolic processes predominate at nighttime, catabolic processes predominate in the daytime, and your body doesn't care what day it is. Get up, go hunt, go gather, have a bit of nookie. Yeah, really doesn't care. All this, nonsense. So we know that microdosing test CYP and HCG is the most effective way of achieving stable male androgen levels and mimicking physiology. So why doesn't everybody do it? Well, the NHS doesn't do it because it's a pain. Why is it a pain? Getting people dialed in to make them feel good should be the goal of a therapy. Well, actually, within the NHS, it's to prevent a disease. The feels to the NHS are not that important. They also don't want to be bothered by you. This is the therapy. The computer says no to a change. Now, the pharmaceutical industry obviously has to apply for a license to launch its substance to the MHRA. It has to prove it's safe and effective. Safe. Now, we know testosterone replacement therapy is safe when done properly and not in excess, because obviously performance enhancing drugs carry risks, and testosterone is a performance enhancing drug. That's one of the reasons why it's not accepted. We don't know if it's effective. And when we talk about effectiveness within the NHS, it really is a matter of disease prevention. Is it going to cause sarcopenia? Is it going to cause osteoporosis? Is it going to cause a dysregulation in your metabolic health? So, when drugs get released, they have to prove that they're safe and effective. But it's not about the feels, disappointingly, which is why lots of people present to private clinics, because we understand that it's about mimicking physiology, not about just the number. Now, when you consider just the number, now you measure it in a trough. So if your injection frequency is wide, you will have a peak and a trough. That peak will elicit a response. As we know, changes in physiology cause a change in psychology. Consciousness is the subjective appreciation of subtle changes in physiology. We don't want peaks and troughs. We want peaks and troughs on a day-to-day basis, hence microdosing. So measuring in a trough with a long injection frequency or a wide injection frequency will give you a quantitative number that reflects the level at that time, not the day before that, the week before that, or if crazily, the weeks before that. So it doesn't make sense, does it? We should be looking to achieve stable male androgen levels. Now, some people do say, Doc, before they do microdosing, I don't really want to do microdosing. I say, read the literature that we've done, watch the videos. You will hopefully understand why we do what we do. Well, I want to inject less frequently. Well, after I've just told you everything that you need to hear. Yeah, well, I've heard. Well, you've heard wrong. So, what if you were a diabetic? What if you were told that you needed to have a base of insulin and then you had to have your 3 injections postprandial to maintain a good, healthy blood glucose? And you said, Doc, I quite like that hyper that I get at lunchtime. Can I skip that insulin dose? How absurd would that be? It doesn't make sense, does it? So you should apply the same logic to testosterone replacement therapy. Some clinics advise an injection frequency of Monday, Wednesday, Friday, because, you know, physiology likes to take a break. Some people use outdated esters such as sustanon, a blend of 4 esters. Well, you know, the prop is the sprinter, the two middle esters are the middle distance runner, and the long ester is the endurance runner. Oh, basic pharmacokinetics. You have to understand them. You have to realize what we're trying to achieve. Stable male androgen levels for long-term physical and psychological well-being. So you can do what? Yeah, go out there and earn your reward. Do not ask what your TRT protocol can do for you. Ask what you can do for your TRT protocol. Reduce stress, improve sleep, eat a healthy, well-balanced diet, and engage in regular physical exercise.